Happy Wealth Wednesday. Verity, so great to connect and to be able to share your story today. You have been a long time member of Coinbase and have just incredible stories about the world of Web3 and crypto in general. Very excited to dive in and would love if you would just kick us off by sharing where in the world you are and what you're up to.
So I am a business development and partnerships leader at Coinbase. I've been at the company for about 5 years now, and I focus on retail and growth partnerships. So really, what kind of partnerships can Coinbase explore to make engaging with the crypto economy a bit easier for people? I've also previously worked on payments deals. Before joining Coinbase, I was at Accenture for 5 years in a management consulting role in financial services. And outside of my kind of day job, I also like to invest in Web3 and be a bit of a DeFi degen on the side as well.
I would love to kick off by just asking the question we ask everyone, which is, do you remember what your first ever investment was and what or who got you started? And I'd be so curious to hear this, both in like a TradFi sense, but then also in the DeFi space.
I was working in TradFi at Accenture for a number of years. And so I was already pretty deep into reading T's and C's of like a lot of different products that were out there. And fintech was kind of emerging as this hot new vertical. So I think I used my consultant promotion bonus at Accenture and I put that into an ETF when I was still working in Australia. That was my first ever investment. I'd read a lot about how ETFs were a really low cost way to get exposure to a number of companies. And I just thought that's a no-brainer. Like, why would I pay someone an annual fee to try and get exposure to the market when I can just look at the S&P 500 equivalent and get exposure there? So that was pretty early in my career, probably my first year out of undergrad at university. My friend who helped me get into crypto was also working in consulting, and we were at a happy hour. I'd heard they'd participated in their ETH ICO. Like, why would you pay for a coin that it just seems so expensive now? And I was really thinking about it as kind of a currency use case rather than the many other things you can do with Ethereum as a smart contract platform. And so I was kind of bearish on ETH at first, but as I read more about the space and got educated, I just fell down the rabbit hole and never looked back. I've kind of been crypto ever since, and I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017 through an Aussie exchange.
We kind of started, it sounds like this person in college was a really good resource for you. And I'm curious how and why then you went from sort of bearish about Ethereum, starting to experiment with Bitcoin, and then actually starting this career in the space. How did you get into Coinbase in particular?
Once I started doing some of my own research, I was learning more about Bitcoin, and a lot of people talking about it being a form of digital gold, native value on the internet. And I just kind of got that. Like, I was working in banking and financial services consulting, and that included a lot of things around payments and capital markets efficiency. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, I can see the parallels between TradFi and crypto or Web3. That makes a lot of sense. Once I bought Bitcoin and I realized you could buy a fraction of Bitcoin, that certainly helped. From there, I actually started participating in a couple of ICOs, which is obviously a term that's gone a little bit out of fashion now, but it was really interesting because it provided this alternative capital raising opportunity for a lot of projects. And I'm really a person, like, I put my money where my mouth is. It was really helpful to make that investment because then I had skin in the game and I naturally followed projects and teams and what they were up to. And then I also sent some crypto to my friends. And at this point, I'd already worked in the US for a period of time, and I'd gone back to Australia, and then I was back in the US. It was really hard moving money around. Getting my AUD over into the US could take several days. You didn't know how many fees you were going to pay, how much money would ultimately land in your bank account. And that's like working between two countries that have a banking system you can trust. And so I really liked being able to send Bitcoin and ETH fast. It was cheap relative to kind of the traditional banking infrastructure that's in place. It was like these little use cases were kind of popping up everywhere, and the UX was a bit janky, and I felt like Coinbase was doing a really good job of just making things simple. And I just thought, okay, I'm like going to the US. I've been in consulting for about 6 years. I'm starting sabbatical. Maybe I use this time to really think like how I can get into crypto full time. And I think I applied for a job at Coinbase first week that I landed back on the West Coast and haven't looked back since.
What role do you feel you play in the wealth space now? And why do you think that's important?
So my role in business development partnerships today, it's not like strictly in what many people would define as traditional wealth. Crypto is an asset class that's here to stay. And I do think that there's a lot of opportunities for people to think about adding crypto tokens or NFTs to their portfolio as part of their overall wealth strategy. And part of that is just helping people take their first step. You had E-Trade and these other brokerages that help people invest directly or invest in ETFs a number of years ago, and now they're just ubiquitous. But we weren't quite there with crypto in 2017 when I started looking at this space. And I just thought the best company I can work for right now with my expertise is one that demystifies a bit of crypto and helps people take that first step. So many of the partnerships that I've worked on in my time at Coinbase have really helped simplify and streamline, even mainstream, the experience. How can we help people get educated? So we worked on like news and market data partnerships to surface like high signal information within our product. How can we get things like easy fiat on and off ramps so that people can transact and buy Bitcoin with their bank account or their debit card or another way that they know and trust? Things like Coinbase Card that we've shipped in the last few years allow customers to spend crypto, like USDC is really popular, and then earn passive crypto rewards. Like these are all little things that unlock like more exposure to the crypto economy in people's lives. And like you can actively invest, or you can kind of passively earn rewards, or you can passively stake. Outside of that, I invest in DeFi. I'm an investor in Web3 companies. I'm really excited to be part of the Eve DAO syndicate and also direct cap table investing. I'm really looking for ways to help other companies build products in Web3 and invest. And that's part of my personal like portfolio allocation as well.
I would love to hear what you think is the most exciting thing you're tracking right now for somebody who is so forward thinking in the early days. What is really lighting you up right now? What's exciting you in the space of where you think it's going?
Things that I'm excited about, we've obviously just gone through a bit of a market correction that can introduce periods of like fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You'll hear people talk about FUD within crypto, but a lot of people look at a correction as the period that's bad. I actually find it's a great time to really be firm about what you're working on and why. Being in a down cycle is a great time for people to learn and upskill without the pressure of watching prices all the time. So I hear a lot of people say, you've been in the space for so long, like I'm getting in so late, like it's too late for me. And I really don't think that's true. So generally, I would just say crypto is still early. Bitcoin started after the Great Recession. ETH started in 2015. And in the last 7 days, like the number of Bitcoin active addresses is still less than 1 million, and ETH active addresses is still less, like around 650, 700,000. When you think about the number of people on the planet that could still benefit from this kind of technology, this is still something that we're really, really early in. So just encourage people to think about the ways that they can at least get started, make some kind of investment, work out your framework over time, iterate on it, and just work out what's your risk appetite and what you might be kind of willing to lose. There are a couple of projects that I've been following really closely. Some of them I have an investment relationship with, like full disclosure. So at Syndicate DAO, I think what they're doing is very cool, building a decentralized investing protocol. It's like a native Web3 way of investing. A couple of other projects are around NFT tooling, Lasso Labs. They're building like a real-time view of token utility that makes it easier for creators to push real-time information about community access. Like maybe you need to buy a token to be a part of a DAO. Rosebud AI. They're building an AI platform for NFTs, and they actually are building that off the back of a viral app they created about a year or two ago called Talking Heads, which saw a huge amount of success. So you can see PFPs or profile pic in the NFT world have taken off, and a number of blue chip projects are associated with your profile pic, like Bored Apes and others.
It answers the question of the companies that are inspiring you. I don't know if you have any additional like people or other companies that really are inspiring you in the space and why I'd love to share.
I'm really lucky to have an incredible network just from being at Coinbase for such a long time. And there's a number of alums that I follow that I would really recommend. Linda Shea, who runs Scalar Capital, Catherine Wu, who was at Coinbase recently, moved over to Archetype, Melton Demiras and Jill Carlson. They're all really sharp commentators on Web3, on investing. They're all really high signal women that I love to follow. They would be my main call outs for individuals. I love the work that Bankless DAO is doing. They have awesome podcasts and newsletters. Unchained is kind of one of the first like crypto podcasts that was out there for by Laurentian, I should say. And Delphi Digital has a daily newsletter that's really solid if you want to get like more technical crypto or like just start to build your technical edge.
Is there any advice on top of that you would give to somebody getting started as you start advancing in your journey? What are some resources or things that you use to do your own research and really make decisions about getting started in really some of the truly decentralized tooling?
You don't need to be an expert. Start with something simple. Coinbase has a product called Coinbase where you complete a small educational task to receive crypto. There's a number of other companies that do similar kind of things. It's a great way to just spend a little bit of time learning and getting a reward as a result. Once you're starting to read and engage in podcasts and videos, obviously index that towards the way that you learn best. I put my money where my mouth is. And then when I feel like I have skin in the game, I'm more likely to track things and read news and see how my portfolio is doing. So that's definitely more impactful for me to do and learn than it is to spend a long time kind of stuck in reading. And some of the things that you do want to think about as you go into some of those more riskier projects is just what is the risk capital that I'm willing to allocate and that I'm willing to lose. Following people and doing little tasks here and there, I really think only gets you so far. When I really get stuck, I am usually reaching out to my network and saying, I noticed something really weird, or I just got dropped some really shady NFT, finding a way to connect with other people who are on this Web3 journey, whether it's through commenting or, sliding into DMs on Twitter, or if you find a Discord group, or you can join a DAO. I think that they're all really important sources of information to help you level up. And ask your network, ask around, follow great people. Eventually someone's going to mention something about a great friend or a network that they use to really help get to kind of level up in the space. One of my good friends, when we were working at Coinbase together, told me about the CryptoPunks NFT drop. That looks so silly. Why would I want a PFP like that? So I'm kind of kicking myself for that decision now. And they all are enjoying their punks and putting them all over their socials. For me, if I see a project and I'm really interested, it's not enough to just follow socials and read. I usually try and find what is my into that community. A lot of projects have Discords now. I kind of jump in and take a look at the main Discord channels. What's the quality of the discussion? Are they just shilling their project so that the early people can make a lot of money and everyone else is kind of left holding the bag? Have they done other projects? Are there other signals that can point to high quality projects? Have these people run a crypto project before? Have they been an entrepreneur? How does the team know each other? Do they all bring kind of unique expertise? Are they happy to get their hands dirty and work hard and not just be kind of focused on shilling a project and not actually having some kind of real content and meat underneath? People may have a bias towards big sets of time to be oh, I'm going to set aside 6 hours and research this project and make a decision by the end of it. What I find is most powerful is just incremental slots of time where you thinking and your framework and kind of scoring a project based on the things that you might care about. Is this a real use case? Is this something I have a skill set I could contribute to? Do I really believe they're here for the long term? And I might just go and score that and revisit it in a couple of days, set aside an hour and say, have I thought about this project a lot in the last few days? Am I passionate about it? I'm here for the long haul. I'm not just looking to make a quick buck and speculate.
I would love to share just anything else we should know. How can we keep in touch with you personally on your own journey as an investor, as a experimenter in this space, and then also with what you're doing at Coinbase? What are the best ways of staying in touch?
If you are passionate about Web3 and you're in the investing space or you're working in crypto, you can connect with me personally via Twitter or AngelList. I also have my ENS up on Twitter, so veritycoltman.eth or Verity Coltman just on Twitter. At Coinbase, you can check out coinbase.com and all social channels and see, what products we're shipping and stuff like that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining, and really excited to continue the conversation and to follow along as you're embarking on this journey as an experimenter, friend, and member of the EVE community. So thanks so much for being here today, and talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.